Please subscribe to help you and your motorcycle perform better.
I want to be a rider, I want to have a motorcycle, I want to get into this sport. So there are some stages I would like you to go through first. If you want to join the sport, keep watching. So this is our next kind of milestone when we've started riding. We've got quite a few miles under our belt, or kilometers. We've reached this part, and what we're starting to feel is that. Especially if during those 3 to 4 months we've had no drama, no chaos erupt in front of us, and no negative experiences that have caused us an issue or repeated issues because of what's happened when we've been riding on the road. That doesn't mean that it has to happen to you. It can be what you see, it can be what evolves in front of you that you weren't involved in, because there's always historical memory attached to an event. So at this point, generally, we are comfortable. Can we take anything for granted? Never. Not on a motorcycle. Never. Because at this point, if we're comfortable and we're just riding along, we are not in the moment, we are not present, we're not ready to make decisions of things that are going to change an outcome. Being comfortable, just like a relationship being comfortable, you tend to pay less attention. This shouldn't happen with a motorcycle. And this is one of those key areas where we kind of settle in a bit and, oh, I'm good, this is fine. Well, you may be fine at that point and that speed, but generally what happens if you're comfortable is we get desire. And that desire equals speed. Because now we think we're ready. And we're ready to go. And depending on the motorcycle you've got, that speed could be for you to do 60 miles an hour. It could be for you to do 100 miles an hour. Or it could be for you to do something else. Irrespective of the laws you have in your country, you're still going to make a choice whether it's legal or not. If we have the desire to go faster, which we all do on a motorcycle, then we're doing something that our conscious brain doesn't know. So that's going to involve calibration, because your eye is not used to that speed. And if that speed comes on quickly, you are going, whoa, and you're tight, and your reactions are not there. You're not going to do the right thing in the right sequence to take care of the situation you're in. So calibration, we need to do it in phases. So one example, when I was teaching at an Air Force base, 2 instructors were killed. They came off deployment, they got on their 1000cc bikes, and they went for a ride. They died by plowing into the back of a huge truck. Why? Well, the calibration effect is pretty obvious. They thought they knew what they were doing. They were taking things for granted in knowing that their eye could calibrate that this number of vehicles they were going to pass with the car in the distance was going to be adequate and appropriate. But if they hadn't been on a motorcycle for 6 months, were they calibrated to speed? No. I don't care if you've been off the bike for a week. I don't care if you've been off the bike for a month or 6 months. Every time I get back on my motorcycle, I do this. Whether it's the track, a race weekend, or a ride, or I'm coaching, it doesn't matter. I have to get my eye back up to speed because my brain is reviewing and analyzing the person I'm trying to help, or I am trying to get my brain back up to speed for a race event or track testing. So I have to do it in this way. Doesn't matter. You don't have a choice, because if you come off and we're going faster, the injuries you can sustain can be fatal. And we can't be nice around this topic. You could die at that speed. So if you are wanting to go faster, then this window is what I've found generally is the most dangerous window. because we are still learning. We've built all those positives up. We're coming to the road, we see a long straight, and we want to see what going faster feels like. So, calibrating to speed in phases, your urban environment is repetitive so you understand it. So there's a couple things you can do here. You can roll the throttle on in second gear and you can take it to red line. Because second gear gives you a punch and you can feel the bike accelerate hard. And if you choose to figure out where your rev limiter is and understand it, because it is a tool and you need to use a tool appropriately, you can go all the way up there and you can set a rev limit and start at 2000 and go to 8 or go to 10, 12, 14, whatever it is. You can set that limit and feel that acceleration. When you're doing that, you're building up that sensory map in your head of what it feels like, and you're also allowing your eyes to learn speed. So going back to the Air Force Base, one of the drills is a 100-mile-an-hour drill. Get it in third gear, put the throttle on and get it to 100 miles an hour. Now stop. Because there's calibration of eye. Repeat, 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 repeat. I don't care if you throw up, go hydrate and come back. Because we have to build that calibration with our eye. So in this case, why not make it much safer and use second gear where your speed limit is lower and you can feel acceleration. If you choose to use third gear, what does that get you to? So now we come back to just like we did on getting a bike. Unfortunately, no matter where I go in the world, this is where things become an issue. 74% of accidents around the world are loss of control going into a corner. Most of those are nothing to do with anything in regards to road conditions, other road users, anything. We are responsible for hurting ourselves. If you're using third gear, then what's your speed limit in third gear? Before you decide to go attack a twisty road, even though you've been riding for this short amount of time, maybe you should think about a track school for novice riders. All the danger's gone. You're in a closed road with everybody going the same way. You're getting an education. You're learning what the bike feels like at speed. You're doing it in an environment where you can learn 100% of the time. It's not much riding, but if it's a track school for novice riders, maybe you figure out what that entry requirement is. Maybe they require 2 years of riding on the road. Okay. That 2 years of riding on the road, how many miles or kilometers is that? Maybe you ask that question. You need to have put in at least 6,000 road miles. Well, I did that a month ago. Oh, well then you qualify. So, what's it going to take? Ask the questions, research the program, see what it has. Because most fatalities are loss of control, and loss of control generally with motorcycles, and it doesn't matter where you go in the world, the stats are all the same. Too much speed going into the corner. This is one of the first really dangerous windows that we encounter as new riders because we want that thrill of speed. You can step to it carefully. If you're going to do this, you chose to do it and there are repercussions for that choice. And that repercussion may be loss of your license and jail time. If you choose to go somewhere around here, go down here. Now that might not be a track school. That may be some kind of training school like California Highway Patrol. Well, they may use the closed environment where you can go do 100 miles an hour and learn the skills and do it that way. It may not involve the track, but in every case it's going to involve a controlled environment. Think about it. Because the road's not the place, honestly, the road is not the place to do it at all for any reason. But we do, and we do it the world over, and there's consequences for the choices that we make here. Getting through this window, 3 to 4 months, up to 6 months, is the most important window of your motorcycling career. If you get through this and with lots of positives and education and testing and making sure what you're doing is good, you will have a wonderful motorcycling life. If you start taking things for granted and then randomly do things where you have no calibration at all, The consequences of your choices and your actions can be severe, including death. If you're learning slowly, then this is never going to happen for you. That's pushed out and down the pipe, but it still should be something that you think about for the future. The next milestone in your riding life is going to come somewhere around that time frame. And there's many reasons why it comes somewhere around there. Mine was just after that, actually, because I wanted to take a long time to learn the motorcycle that I had, so I was absolutely 100% comfortable on it. So, first reason for upgrade was social. My first reason at that age for change was actually social reasons, and to have something where I felt like I fit in. I did not want to be on a 90cc step-through motorcycle anymore. It was embarrassing, it was miserable. Everybody else had real motorcycles except me. They couldn't ride for squat. So that leads to, yet again, what bike? Now, after a year, you have a much better idea of what you're looking for. So, consideration A is going to be brand and model in X category. The next decision is going to be, and that budget, you're going to forget all about everything you did when you first went and got a bike and made sure it was fitted to you. You're going to do this because you want it. So that decision about sitting and measuring and doing all that stuff, that's all going to disappear. Because that was a year ago. And I don't need to do that anymore because I'm more intelligent, more informed, and I don't need to do these things because I know more. And I have my friends and they tell me what to do. That's not going to happen, hopefully. The next piece of that puzzle then becomes, now, in regards to this, in many countries, there are legal limits where your next bike is going to be this power output or this engine capacity, and you don't have a choice on that. You may also find that you can't upgrade your license for at least 12 months, maybe 24 months to be able to go for your next bike. If there are no limits, then what? Because now, literally, I know when I was 17, you could buy anything. As soon as you passed your test, it didn't matter. You could get whatever you wanted. Things are a lot different now, so there has to be a consideration here that is profound and takes time, and you have to work through and have conversations about. And also, if you can remember, instead of that being at the top of the list, it will now always, even if you have conversations with people, be at the bottom of their list. They couldn't care less how it fits them. Can you bring D back up to there where social and fit in isn't your prerogative or your predominant characteristic for doing this? You want to upgrade, so you're looking at the next bike, and the very first thing you need to look at is, how does it fit me? And of course, what comes next? What is it going to take in money to make it right? So you need a budget for that. The choice you make here can have huge ramifications down the line, just like any choice you make in your life. I think the movie was Sliding Doors. Close one door, that's gone. Open another one, leave it open, you can go back. So please take the time here to take a look at what you are doing, but more importantly, why. And the biggest thing for me in that instance is, if somebody says this, I want them to show me on their current motorcycle that they have mastered it. No two bones about it, they can make it do exactly what they want it to do in any skill test at any speed. And as soon as you're doing that, and you come to this, there's a reason why this is so important, and that reason is very, very simple. Because every time we make a step up, we're not making a step up, we're actually making a step back. If you get a brand new bike, guess what happens to your conscious mind? It's full. You're trying to learn this new bike. With a new bike, what do you want to do? Now you're in a territory where your conscious brain is going to lock up because you're doing too much and it can't process enough speed. The amount of risk you're placing yourself in is exponentially rocketing skyward because you don't know this bike. Remember we talked about that assumption of arrogance? Oh, I got this. You upgrade to your next bike, you got nothing. You're leveraging the knowledge and experience you've got, which is to a certain degree applied to that motorcycle. Its engine size, how it fits you, how comfortable you are with that, how long you've ridden it, what speed you've ridden it to, what your average speed of it is. That's all subconscious. When you get a brand new bike, your conscious brain is 100% up. Your subconscious has to relearn all of this, but what does that take? Time plus miles or kilometers. I've got a 2019 ZX6R, or in other countries, ZX6R. What do I need? I need this. What did we just film? Getting myself comfortable with the bike. What is next? A test ride to learn this new motorcycle. Doesn't matter that I've been on riding since '74. It's irrelevant. This is a brand new to me motorcycle that I know nothing about. So I have to creep up on that bit by bit, stage by stage, piece by piece. All I'm doing is leveraging the knowledge I've acquired, the speed and the environment I'm in, to go back into that comfortable environment. And where's that for me? Is to go to the track. Because here, I feel 100% safe. I'm learning in an environment where I can learn quickly because I can let go of that environment and I feel 100% safe. So where's your learning environment to allow your conscious mind to free up for your new motorcycle to you to do that one thing that we talked about earlier, and that one key word that will make all the difference to your riding ability and enjoyment? Calibrate to your motorcycle. Everything about it is different. How the seat's different, the posture's different. You've got to figure everything out for your ergonomics because they're different. The list we could pull up under here will go off the end of the whiteboard. You've got to take your time, right? So let's do the short list. Realistically, if you can nail all of this, you will calibrate to the motorcycle much faster, which means your conscious mind will empty way quicker. If it fits you, you relax. If you set the suspension up for you and the way you ride, the ride quality is going to be significantly enhanced. If you run at normal speeds on the roads you know, that's all subconscious work. You're just calibrating to this motorcycle in terms of energy and in terms of what it takes to move the bike side to side and your bike inputs. Then you need time, and you need hours of time so that all of that drops down to your subconscious level. Who knows what amount of time you can introduce speed via acceleration. Now, if you've gone up in engine CCs, your bike's going to accelerate quicker. If you're not ready for that, you're going to lock up, or you're going to target fixate on what you're trying to avoid, and all of that is bad. So please, after you've done the detached part, you've pulled the trigger, and you have purchased your motorcycle, this is the order and sequence in which you need to go through to give yourself the best opportunity to maximize the enjoyment from your new motorcycle. Culturally, what we've done, and generations before of us have done, is I've got a new motorcycle. Well, let's go see what this will do, shall we? Most of my friends were dead by the time I was 23 because of that mantra. Be a lifelong motorcyclist. Go through this process with every bike that you choose to buy at the time when you are ready, because you have mastered the motorcycle that you currently ride.